Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss what human bones are, the human skeleton system as such, and integrated shield of the internal organs by and large. Now let's start with the perfect human anatomy. There are 10 organ systems in the human body. As I've told you, there are 10 suns in spiral galaxy. There are 10 heavenly bodies in the solar system. Then 10 major chakras in the body. And then there are 10 organ centers also within the human body. The first thing which stands out is the human skeleton, which is 206 bones, which is shield and for movements. Then you have the muscles, skeletal, smooth and cardiac, 3 muscles. Then you have skin, excretion, elimination of waste is also for elimination. Then digestive system for absorption of water, salt, nutrients, for the continuous supply of glucose, etc., for homeostasis. Then respiration for oxygen and carbon dioxide as such. Endocrine, the essential hormone supply, which is absolutely essential. The blood, the carrier of needs of the cells on the whole, that's very important part. Then eighth is the cardiovascular system, effective transport system. Reproduction is the procreation, the survival of the race is important. Nervous system is the master control, effective networking system, the thinking cognitive brain, unconscious subconscious brain, superconscious divine consciousness, and the regulation, the divine design of nature. Within these 10 systems, a perfect human being can experience himself as written in Rig Veda, and also experience what is in Aitreya Upanishad, and also experience the beauty of inner complete body, consciousness otherwise, and external things like solar system, spiral galaxy, and the universe as such. Both physical body, internal indwelling soul, and external dwelling souls by and large could be understood by a person who understands these 10 systems clearly. And the most important, now we are moving towards from to understand the whole concept as the perfect human being is an atom of atoms, elements, molecules, compounds and cells. And cells lead to tissues, and tissues to the organs, and organ to the organism. And these are the 10 organisms which I am talking about, and today we are going to take about human skeleton as such. Now come to the question of the perfect human shield. As I told you, skin is one part, muscles another part, and the bone is another part. And then you have internal organs. Both internal and external thing has to be done. And now let's understand the human muscle skeleton. But today we will talk only of skeleton, not of the muscle. Muscle we will talk tomorrow. Now come to the question of 3 germinal layers. As I told you, when male and female get together, ovum and sperm, they form zygote, and zygote takes rest for 1.5 days and then start dividing in bicotomous division, 1 into 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 520 and 1024, and that goes on. But in the process of developing further, they develop the 3 layers first, and one is an ectoderm from which skin and nervous system arises. We will talk of it little later. Then mesoderm, the muscles and skeleton which shield the thing as such, that is second part. Then endoderm are the one which the internal organs are developed, and you can see that particular picture down which resembles like your lips. But the 3 layers are there very clearly defined, and from ectoderm, skin and nervous system, eyes are developed. Mesoderm, the muscles and skeletons, and endoderm, the internal blue is only for that. Now to come to question of discussing only mesoderm. Ectoderm and endoderm we will talk later. The creation of the human muscles and skeletons start from there, and this you can see in one picture there are bones, second picture you can see the muscles. These are the 2 things which stand out from mesoderm, and as a result this kind of person who is predominant to these 2 will be called mesoform. I have already discussed in human body as such, a human being as a mesoform is from mesoderm, and that is muscles and skeleton as such. Now come to the question of muscles. Just for a view, I'll give you a little idea, but detail we will talk tomorrow. There are three types of muscles: skeletal muscles, smooth muscles, and cardiac muscles. Skeletal muscles are connected with the bones. Since we are talking about bones, there's a skeletal muscle, that's why skeletal bones, skeletal structures. And they are the one which are responsible for movement along with the bones and joints, etc. Muscles are the one which work together to make things very clearly. So you can understand mesoderm, both are interconnected as one unit. And skeletal muscles are required for homeostasis also. Like the legs, skeletal muscles are to go to the market, and skeletal muscles are the hands to cook the food and also put into the mouth, and the initial first stage of ingestion is with the skeletal muscles. Then smooth muscles take over, and then smooth muscles, when they take over, they do all the digestion, absorption, etc., and get the thing into the heart, where cardiac muscles come, and cardiac muscles supply the entire blood to the entire thing, which also goes through the smooth muscles and thing. And this, both smooth and this, are involuntary autonomic control only, whereas skeletal muscles come under voluntary control. Once this is understood, is very clear. Now another point which I like to make people to understand is muscles, skeletal muscles, 1 gram of protein, 1 gram of glucose gives you 4 kilocalories. But cardiac muscles produce fatty acids which produce 9 kilocalories for a 1 gram, which is 2.25 times. So all that you can experience within that. The amount of energy which skeletal muscles will produce will be 1 unit. The one with smooth muscle will be equivalent to 1.618034, and the cardiac muscle will be 2.618034, and that's how the whole system works. So this is where divine mathematics of Divyank sequence also comes to play a role very clearly in muscles as well as skeleton. So my objective is to teach the student perfect anatomy as designed by nature in a perfect human being for a preventive medicine. And this I have already told you this. Now we come to bone structure. Now let's say Shiv Bhushan Sharma, me. This particular structure fits into me very clearly. My height is 173, 174 centimeters, and you can divide into 4 different parts. Head to the heart will be 25%, heart to the tailbone will be 25%, tailbone to the knee 25%, knee to the sole another 25, as you can see on the left side. But on the right side I have shown you something very different. From sole to the navel will be to 61.8034, and that is Nabhi chakra. Navel to sole is 61 point, that is where the periphery comes to play a role. Then between navel and head will be 38.1966%, and that exactly where Rigved and Aitreya Upanishad talks very clearly about Nabhi, and Nabhi can have 10 heads, and all the survival is centers on that. So that becomes the center of consciousness to make you survive come what may. So I think this particular divine mathematics speaks volume. The one is 1/1/4, another is Divyank alone. I think once that is understood, we can move on to the next stage little more clearly. Now come to the question of amazing heads. Now we are coming straight to the central part of the body. Head is right on top, and it's very interesting, as you have seen the same picture I have put in the thumbnail. Now we are going to show you the kind of bones which are there in the skull and the face. That's clear. Now left side you can see head bones, there are 8. Occipital 1, parietal 2, temporal 2, frontal 1, sphenoid 1, ethmoidal 1. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1. That exactly is 8. Now on the right side you see the fixed bones of the face. Nasal 2, lacrimal 2, palatine 2, maxilla 2, zygomatic 2, inferior nasal congruent 2, and vomer is 1. So this is again 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 is a 13 bone. 8 and 13 bone, they are all fixed together. So 21 bones of the skull and the face are fixed ones, and that is Divyank alone. But there is one bone of the human face which is mandible, which is free, which can move itself but it not fix its joint, and that exactly gives you the expression to take. So you can see Brahmank, the first stage creation, 22 by 21 in the head bones itself. Isn't it amazing? That same design Divyank, which I am talking 22 by 21, is the first stage of creation. You can see the same thing in head because the center which thinks, brains and works at together is protected by that. Is it a mere coincidence or is it a divine design? That exactly I want the people to understand. It's the divine mathematics with which the consistency is their entire universe. From pole star right up to the core of sun, everything the universe is designed only with Divyank. And that exactly my point is. Now come to this down part. Now you can see something else which I am showing, the skull bone. It takes 21 years for the brain to develop. For 21 years the brain develops. As the brain develops, the skull continues to be mobile only. There are sutures, anterior, middle and etc. They are flexible, they are not closed at all right up to 22 years of age, because brain can function up to that, can grow up to that. Now after 22 weeks of pregnancy also the soul enters there, and after 22 years these fixtures or the sutures start closing. And this is one of the tests even for forensic medicine to find out the age of the person, whether it's below 22 or 24 years or more than 22 or 24 years. 22 years start and by 24 years it almost closes. That means you can take it like the person is already more than 24 years if the sutures are closed. If they are open, that it could be less than 24 years. I think that is amazing divine design even for scientific thing like forensic medicine. I think that speaks volumes. Then come to the structure from the head. Now you come to the chest cage. In this structure you can see very clearly there is one sternum right in the center, you can see where the two sides meet together in front, sternum. That is one. And ribs are 12 on either side. 12 and 12 are 24. So number of bones connected with chest as such are 25. 22 on the head and chest 25. So 22 plus 25 is 47. Now come to the structure of vertebral column. And vertebral column has got 30 bones. That means cervical are there only 7. Then thoracic 12, lumbar 5, sacrum 5. But there are coccyx, there are 4 bones which are actually fused into one. They work as one but actually 4. But number of vertebral column is 30, like 7 plus 12, 19 plus 5, 25, 29 and 30. I think that is clear. Now 22 bones, 25 bones and 30 bones. How many bones are there? 77. So that means central part of the nerve bones in the human body is equivalent to 77 bones. I think that is one first thing which I want to understand. 22, 25, 30, 77. Now let's go to the structure of this particular thing defined as such. Do you see 22 bones on the head, 25 in the chest and 30, and then 77. 22 plus 25, 30 is 7. Do you see any sequence? This is what we are going to see as we move on to with the peripheral bones, which will be much more specific as such. Now let's take upper extremity bones, arms and hand. Structure you can see on the right side. Now how many bones are there? Let's see the number of bones. There are clavicle 2, scapula 2, humerus 2, radius 2, ulnar 2, wrist has got 16 bones, hand has got 38 bones. Total number is 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 16 plus 34 is 64 bones. So very clear, there are 64 bones on both the sides of the extremities. Left and right, 32 plus 32 is 64. I think once that is understood, that is upper part of the extremities, peripheral part, and that is important. Now come to the next structure is the leg, which is also sporting an external part. Now let's look at the number of bones. Hips, there are 2 both the sides, femur 2 both the sides, patella 2 both the sides, tibia 2, fibula 2, ankle bones are 14, not 16 like hands, and feet at 38 like that, and the number of bones is 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 14 plus 38 62. That was 64, this is 32. That is 32 plus 32, this is 31 plus 31. I think that is very clear. Now let's understand the number of bones in the peripheral structures as such from our understanding of the structure of the human, perfect human as such. Now both extremities put together. As I told you, number of bones in the upper is 64. Again 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 16 plus 38 into 62. Then number of legs is 62, hips 2, femur 2, patella 2, tibia 2, fibula 2, ankle 14 in this. Now you can see in this 64 and 62, less is the wrist has got 16, where ankle has got only 14. Let that be very clear. The reason why wrist has got 16 and ankle has got only 14 is because this lot of movement is required in the wrist to make the movement left, right, front, this competition is. So you need no more mobility and other things. So there need to be 2 more bones there to make it really mobile. Whereas legs by and large, ankles by and large do not move so much in the sides the way arm does, what the wrist does. I think that way is very clear. Now you can see 60 plus 62 is equal to 126. Central are 77 bones and periphery are 126. Now you see a divine mathematics. As such, now let's go on to the next one. Now let's see the whole structure by and large. Left side you see head 22 bones, vertebral got 30, then 25 is 77, and peripheral bones, as you can see on the right side, 60 plus for 62 is 126. Now you see the structure is right side 126, left side 77. Now 126 divided by 76 is 1.6364. That means it's a very close to Divyank ratio. Is it a coincidence or other thing? Head and face bones are into Brahmank, and peripheral and lateral are axial, core, and the peripheral are in Divyank. Isn't it surprising that human being is designed so beautifully? And once that is understood, I think you are very clear that everything designed by nature. This is one concept which has not been covered in any book in the world, but I do know. Nature, the science of nature is mathematics, science of object is nature. Everything in the world is designed according to Divyank, is what my point has been. Even the structure from the core of the sun to pole star is also according to pi, which is 22 by 7 equivalent to 3.142857, and 22 by 7 divided by 1/3 is 22 by 21. That is what the brain of the human brain has, is 1/3 the value of the whole shivling, you call it, or universal consciousness call it. So you can see the consistency. There is not even one place there is a difference which is not applied according to. And I do know all the search for science is for the truth. And once a modern science step with the help of Divyank, Divyank sequence, Divyank ratio, Divyank constant, does research again, all the deficiency we have in mathematics, which is man-made concept, will be clarified with Divyank, And same thing, based on the physics will be perfect, chemistry will be perfect, biology will be perfect, and even medical sciences will be perfect, as I have seen and shown. No medical man in the world even knows what is a perfect female menstrual cycle. It's a pathetic state of affair. A to Z booked entire world, including Britannica, Certified, all the books which I have read as a medical person, all the defects, they don't even know where female menstruation actually starts. They say 5 days of bleeding, 8 days of proliferation, and 30 days of excretion, which is not true. But it is also according to Divyank, and is a part of that, is of something which I have said. Now, having said that, let's go to the last stage. In this particular structure, you can see the same concept. It centers on three: Ida, Pingla, Sushmana, Nadis, everything. And I think once this is understood, everything is very, very clear. So the carry home message for today is number of bones according to the whole structure is like that. And once that is done, I think we are very clear that this is the divine mathematics and done. I think that's enough for the day. Thank you very much.